Hi, beautiful souls, and welcome to the Return to the Mother World Dancing with the Dark Feminine Summit, where we honor the Great Mother and the rise of the Divine Feminine and reconnect with ancient feminine wisdom so that we can feel more rooted, grounded, and empowered during this incredible collective planetary shift that we are in. This summit leads us into the nurturing, life-giving, deconstructive, and transformational realms of the dark feminine, and is intended to be an exploration of those liminal, mysterious spaces that are often feared, yet can also offer us our greatest gifts, insights, and healing opportunities. As such, the summit is a sacred call to action for embracing, integrating, and dancing with the dark goddess in all her delicious embodiments. I'm Emmi Mutale. I'm your host and the creatrix of this gathering, and very, very excited to have all of you with us here. And truly honored, very excited to introduce today's guest as well, Dr. Marguerite Rigoglioso, PhD. Welcome, Marguerite.
Thank you, Emmy. So great to be here as always. I just so appreciate the energy with which you set these things up. It's wonderful.
Oh, bless you. Thank you so much. And I know we're going to have a very yummy, delicious conversation and go pretty deep with whatever comes through as we start to talk. But before we dive any deeper, let me just introduce you to our audience as well. So Marguerite is an award-winning author, oracle, and founding director of Seven Sisters Mystery School. She's the foremost authority on the history and practice of divine birth and a celebrated pioneer in the revival of Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, and the womb mysteries, particularly with her books, The Secret Life of Mother Mary and The Mystery Tradition of Miraculous Conception. Through deep communion with the Marys, the Pleiades, the goddess Sophia, Marguerite guides people to reclaim their sacred voice, intuitive power, and soul calling. Her offerings, especially the Mary and Magdalene Priestess Training and Seven Sisters Inner Sanctum Temple, support a new generation of spiritual leaders in embodying the divine feminine in harmony with the sacred masculine for this turning of the age. Wow, that is really, really beautiful, Marguerite. And I know that the work you do is truly groundbreaking. And you are not just changing individual people's lives, but you're lifting the vibration on our planet and of humanity as a collective with all that you offer. So thank you for doing that.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, since you do work really closely with the energies of Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene, both of whom are very dear guides to me as well, I would love to know, how do these two beings embody aspects of the dark feminine? They are often not described as such or associated with the dark feminine, but how do they embody aspects of this?
Right. Thank you for that question. It just really does feel like an unveiling of two great faces of Mother that many have not fully seen. And I just want to mention that I know a lot of people have their videos veiled, but I look at the gallery view when I'm talking as though I'm in the room with us. So I love to see your faces. If you're feeling comfortable, come as you are. You're not going to be recorded. Just so that I can see people's responses. I'm talking to you directly. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, I see a couple of familiar faces. So, yeah, Emmy, when most people think of Mother Mary, they think of this luminous being of light, of serenity, of grace. And yes, she is that, but she is also the womb of the void. Okay. She is the dark Madonna as well, in her most exalted sense, because I know there's talk in the Oracle community of the hijacked Black Madonna, but the fertile, loving, dark Madonna, the one who midwives the soul through death and birth, is very connected with the earth realms, literally through that color, terra. And she teaches the power of emptiness. She teaches the power of deep listening, of gestation. And she's the one who says to me as well all the time, you do not need to push. Wait, something holy is forming in the dark. So Mary Magdalene, who, we tend to associate her with sensuality and devotion. And yes, that is true. She is equally a keeper of the dark gates, that's for sure. She is the initiatrix, right? The one who initiates us. She tells us, my dear, You must descend. You must feel, you must grieve what has been lost in the world and in yourself. So she doesn't necessarily always lead with comfort. She leads with truth. And she shows us that our own internalized patriarchal voices still silence us. And she calls us into the fire of remembrance. But we can see their dance with the dark feminine really exemplified in what? The crucifixion of Yeshua, right?
Mm.
Not to get into it in too much of a lugubrious fashion, but they were there when he was tortured, humiliated publicly, executed before their eyes. Let's just take a breath. For those of us who do feel that these beings walked the planet and that this was a living timeline. So they were not shielded from it, right? They were not rescued from the agony. They bore witness in full consciousness to the total physical annihilation of the one that they loved the most, and yet they did not collapse. So this was embodying grief as sacred service. And this means that, Yeshua's descent into crucifixion was not just his, it was theirs. Like they literally lived that pretty much every step of the way. And in doing this, they came into full union with Sophia, whom they embody. Sophia as dark mother. Okay, they stayed, they witnessed, they held, and they moved through this unbearable agony and this unbearable love to get to the other side, which was the resurrection of like Osiris, this man's body parts. Okay, his spiritual body parts. So their teachings today carry that courage. They're inviting us into a radical presence with suffering, right? Not to wallow in it, but to transmute it within ourselves. And as we do that, we transmute it within the world. And they show us that our very human experiences, the loss, the grief, the unknown, the abandonment, everything can actually be the very thing that births the next spiral of our becoming. How many people can raise their hands saying, yeah, I've been through a few dark nights of the soul. That was my initiation to deeper levels of spirituality. So the message of the Marys is you don't need to run from the dark. You need to walk into it with your eyes wide open. And of course, you can always call on them, those who have walked before us, for that assistance with that passage. We do not have to do it alone. Okay.
Yeah, that is so, so beautiful and such a vital piece of knowledge to have to carry deep inside ourselves in these times of change and transformation where we are living, all of us, whether we're conscious of it or not, we are living on a stage filled with huge tragedy and huge grief and sorrow and a lot of death at the moment as
Yeah.
well. And for me, the Marys really hold my hand. They really guide me on this journey to be able to witness that with as much grace and compassion as my heart is able to fathom at the moment, and to also then, as you put it, start to alchemize these huge, massive energies that are coursing through our planet, that are coursing through our bodies, and often can take us super, super deep.
Yeah, yeah. And even if we're not perfect in the moment, just because we've done spiritual work, and we are angry, we're faltering, we're snarky, whatever we are, uh, we can always just lift ourselves back up and come back, at a later time. And again, the Marys can help us every step of the way. Those of us who find meaning in them, which is an increasing number of people as we really understand who they are and not those pale, one-dimensional, not even two-dimensional, but one-dimensional figures that we were presented with in organized religion.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we're talking about the highest spiritual masters that
Yeah.
perhaps that walked on our planet, isn't it?
Yeah. Basically, the highest spiritual masters, bar none, Sri Kaleshwar says Mother Mary superseded even the male masters, any male master on the planet. So
Well,
that's a lot to start learning about, right?
indeed. And she would have
Yeah.
because she was working with her womb and the alchemic
Right.
powers of her womb.
That's right.
Yeah.
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 Oh. Ooh, let's all just take a breath.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It can feel like a lot to take in. And at the same time, these are the kinds of truths that we need to start becoming more and more familiar with. And
Yeah.
in this moment, maybe allow them to land exactly where they're meant to land, but also
Yeah.
perhaps notice the stirring of a knowing, of a deep, deep knowing. I've
Yeah.
known this for lifetimes.
That's right. I mean, because we've all been through hell in one way or another. Let's face it, you come to Earth from day one, things start going on. And we've all experienced our suffering. And so these are gateways. That's what we're all being called to do, is to transfigure that and resurrect ourselves through that suffering, gather back our body parts, our spiritual parts, come into rebirth.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would love for you to speak a little bit more to as to how the Marys can help us in terms of addressing those shadow parts within ourselves that we might fear, that we might have been suppressing for a very long time as well.
Yeah, well, um, they they are there as both healers and mentors. So you can call upon them any time of day and night. And what helps in this is getting to know who they actually are in their full amplified form, which is a lot of the work I've been doing, as you know, Emmy, through my books that you mentioned earlier, The Secret Life of Mother Mary in particular, and then through my Mary and Magdalene priestess training, which we can talk about at the end. Um, get to know them in their fullness, because as you do that, then you know, first of all, what they're available to do for you. And secondly, who you are becoming, because they are reflections of us. So for me personally, they've helped me with all of my agonies, the death of my mother when I was 10 years old, the feelings of abandonment that I carried for years and years and years, loneliness, all of that kind of stuff. The anxiety that rose up chronically as a result of that, the pushing of survival that I had to do throughout my life. And once I started understanding them, first of all, on the intellectual level, like, wow, they're pretty impressive. And then, oh my gosh, they're available. Then I really started understanding how to pray with them, how to call upon them, how to work with them. I've had numerous kinds of healings with them physically in my own womb. And I've talked and written about that. And so they are there on that level. And then at the same time, if you're wanting spiritual development, understanding more of the dark mysteries or the light mysteries, they can be your teachers. You can ask them, please be my teachers in this regard. Show me the exalted levels. Show me what to do. How can I open my consciousness, right? All of these kinds of things are ways that they help us in the dark, through the dark, and outside of the dark.
Yeah. Absolutely. Really beautifully said. I would you like to share a little bit more about one of the healing experiences that you've had with the Marys? I think our audience would love to hear.
Yeah, so for example, I have had like a cyst on my left ovary, right? And this came about just a lot of pushing energy, creation through the womb, but excessive, and then also trying to heal the planet by drawing energies in and transmuting them myself. So I've had fibroids and a cyst, and I had to get one removed, the cyst, and they gave me ketamine in the cocktail, the anesthesia cocktail, and I woke up and Mother Mary was in the recovery room. I mean, like just a strong feeling like, oh my God, she is real and she is here. It was just so remarkable, right? And then a few years later, I had like another mass that seemed to be appearing on the same ovary, but it was like harder this time. And I was just terrified about this whole thing and went through this whole process. And that was right about the time that I started doing the Holy Womb chakra system of Sri Kaleshwar, the mantras and the yantras that clear and purify your womb. And that experience, because those mantras were used by Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene and Yeshua, according to Kaleshwar, and I really do believe that. And I keep getting verification from them that that is the case. Um, Lo and behold, I had an ultrasound that revealed that it was there. And then I had an MRI after all this stuff that I went through with them. And the MRI revealed nothing.
Mm.
The gynecologist who was new to me was like completely confused. He's like, wait, what is the problem here? He's like all flustered. And when he told me that news, I'm sitting in the gown in the room, the medical room, and I'm just like, oh my God, what just happened? And the first person I call afterward is Cindy Lindsay, my teacher of the Holy Womb Chakra teachings. And I just said to her what had happened, this miracle essentially. And she just said, of course, right? So these are just some of the things that as you start entering their stream, there are other things that have happened, me finding my house, all these synchronicities that happened.
Że mi się to tak nie przytrafia, Maria,
I talk
sorry.
about
Could
that.
you all
Oops,
please mute
Catherine.
yourselves? Sorry, there's just somebody coming in.
Yeah, Catherine. Right. So those are just, that's just one example and a dramatic one of, and each person's story will be different. Will you have a womb healing with the Marys? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe you'll have something else. Maybe they'll bring your partner in, or maybe they'll, maybe they'll just help you with your anxiety, or maybe they will help relocate you, or, right? So
Yeah,
many different ways.
exactly. And I think we'll all receive exactly the kind of medicine that we need.
That's right. That's right. We will all receive the kind of medicine that we need once you ask these beings or any others. They're not the only beings in the universe, even though they have resonances with every other goddess, right? But still, if there's a form that you resonate with better, Kali or, Isis, or call on those beings. They are all resonances of what I call Sophia.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit more about Sophia because she isn't as often referenced, I find at least at the moment. So,
That's right.
how would you describe Sophia's role in these times of change?
Yeah, well, she's what we can understand in the Hebrew and Christian tradition, if we're going to name traditions, but it goes way beyond that, to the Essenes and the Greek and everything else beyond. To the Gnostics who really talk about her as the divine feminine in her totality. The core goddess. She's one of the names. That's one of the names, Sophia. She's known to us as wisdom of the divine. But we also see her as the creatrix of the cosmos in these stories. She's really the embodied intelligence, right? That births, that sustains, that renews all life. And she is not separate from source because she is the feminine expression of it. She's the voice, she's the breath, she's the intelligence, the heart of the divine made manifest. And so, in many mystical traditions, she is essentially the world soul, the anima mundi. And she's also the mother of the Christ impulse, right? That healing, awakening impulse in the universe that is upon us in humanity. And she's the one who pours herself into matter and into humanity. We all have her light frequency within us. She's also initiated into the ache of separation through the so-called fall that she experienced into matter. She became one with matter, and she understands humanity and our own fall. Okay. She's the one who knows how to descend and ascend. All right. And she made this choice to understand the totality of creation. She did not just stay in the pleroma. She's like, oh, I see that they're creating all sorts of layers and levels of reality. Let me go down into there. So the dark feminine aspect of her, the light feminine aspect of her go together. And the dark feminine is her depth. And Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene are two of Sophia's clearest human embodiments. They are living vessels who carried her codes into this world. So Mother Mary has a lot of the cosmic womb and sacred stillness aspect of Sophia. And Mother Mary Magdalene holds a lot of the oracle flame and the embodied knowing, the embodied gnosis of Sophia. And so that's why these two Marys are together, they guide us through the underworld of our becoming. And they know Sophia, not just as, this sort of luminous wisdom floating in the pleroma, but as the mother who weeps, the feminine who burns, the womb who remembers. So to walk with Sophia is to be initiated by the Marys, and to be initiated by the Marys is to know and walk with Sophia. And all of this involves coming into contact with the dark feminine. She's here, she's within. And this Sophia knowing is starting to rise in all of us who are ready to remember.
Yeah, that impulse that you were talking about there is pulsing very strongly on our planet right now. And so many
Yeah.
of us are feeling the calling, the nudges, the warm winks in
Yeah.
terms of this. What would you say, Margaret, for those who might be just starting to take their first steps on this path? What might be some of the first signs that we start to receive or notice when we start to be called by these energies and beings, really?
You know, you first of all, some people have direct visitations. So that's pretty unmistakable. Like, my God, Mother Mary appeared to me in a vision at the end of my bed. Mary Magdalene appeared in a dream or in a medicine session, right? You might start having feelings like that, or you might have synchronicity. Synchronicity is always a big sign. Like when I found my house, oh, I didn't think I was going to live all this far up north. But I come into the house, the owner's name is Mary. She's got a whole shrine with the same prayer card that I had of Mother Mary and Jesus with their Sacred Heart. All these things were going on. And I was just like, oh my God, Mother Mary is talking to me, right? So just watch, and you can spur it along a little by saying, Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, I'm curious about you. If we are to have a deeper relationship, could you please give me some signs, symbols along the way, right? But even just feeling a deep sense of wanting to support humanity is a part of the awakening to the Marys, plain and simple. You don't even have to know, oh, these are the Marys. Uh, but they are part of that impulse. Like, if you, as a kid, my thing was, what do you want to do when you grow up? Help people. That's a Marian mission right there. So there may be many ways in which you've been called by the Marys. You don't even know it. And, I don't want to scare people like, oh my God, I'm being called into some cult like, religious program. No, no, that's not what it is. We're talking about their esoteric essences, right? If you're having anything, beloved, loving nature, that's a Marian impulse. Wanting to see better things for the environment, that's a Marian impulse. All of these things, wanting to even help your family, heal your family, help your children, your elders, those are all Marian impulses. And just, if you open the door like, oh, is this a Marian impulse? Okay, Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, then speak to me more loudly. Let me hear from you. Guide me. Guide me into my deeper spiritual path as a sacred woman, a sacred person on the planet, so that I can fulfill my soul destiny that I came here for.
Mm, that's really beautiful. Yeah, thank you for sharing about that as well. And as you were talking there, what was coming through for me was also the side of them that protects us fiercely, that protects all of life, that considers all of life, whether we're talking about humans or animals or nature or the elementals or beings and guides we may or may not be able to see, but there is this fierce protective energy to them as well, isn't it?
Absolutely. They are so closely connected with late nature that it's not funny. I write about this in my chapter in The Secret Life of Mother Mary, about Mother Mary's connection with the Fae, with the fairies. And, Mary Magdalene is like Snow White. She's like Snow White with the dwarves. She's the guardian of, she's a guardian figure of not only of humanity, but of all creatures, right? So that's why we have such an ancient connection of like Mother Mary with the fairies. That that is embedded in the lore going back into Celtic times. Why we have her connected with the unicorns. Yes, people, what's that all about? Those ninth dimensional beings. Like, as we start awakening to that, why she's connected to the dragons, as numerous spiritual teachers have been showing us. Okay. They are part of the net, part of the global galactic sacred net. They're connected with the Pleiades. all right, and other star systems, Sirius and so forth. So they got their hands everywhere, essentially, just as do we. And as we start awakening to these aspects within ourselves, we realize I'm connected to the dragons, the unicorns, the fairies, the Pleiades, the Syrian councils, etc. And then you can start opening these doors and letting that guidance flood in for you, informing you, elevating you, expanding your light body. That's what they're all about here, through our grief, through our darkness.
Yeah. And that is such an important point again about remembering that we are all multidimensional beings.
Yeah.
Many of us have roots in star systems on other planets, and all of us have, just by virtue of having been born into human bodies in these lifetimes, such a deep, deep connection, innate connection to Mother Nature, to Mother Earth, to our planet, to the soils of her, to the waters of her.
That's right.
As much as the current system that we are living in at the moment is trying to numb us to this connection and keep us disconnected from this innate connection, I think more and more of us are really, really, truly feeling that.
That's right. And this is what traditional religions cut us off from deliberately. The powers that were underneath those machines deliberately cut us off from all of that, those connections, and the sacred feminine herself, but it's just indomitable now. We are rising. Those connections are being reconnected all over the place. The lattice work is still there and the lights are turning on.
Yes, the lights are certainly turning on.
Yeah.
Marguerite, could you talk a little bit about the connection between the womb that the Marys work with very closely and then the heart, which of course is also very closely connected to this path of service and devotion and the path of love?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Sophia herself is kind of known as the womb, hustera. That's an ancient word, because she is the womb of the universe. She is that mother divine womb of the universe that Sri Kaleshwar and others talk about. And so the Marys and all of us womb women have that connection. We are all fractalized versions of the holy womb of creation, right? So Marguerite, she got so excited about that she lost track of the answer. Could you please ask it again? All right, the connection of the the Marys to the womb. All right.
Woman,
So I'm like, oh my God.
connection.
Yeah. So it's on every level of the hologram with them. The womb and the heart are connected because the womb is the heart. The heart is the womb. This is a universal truth. And in our bodies, they seem separated out. But as soon as we start generating, regenerating, healing the power of each of those chakras, we realize, oh my God, all of these chakras are identical. They are all just holographic nodes of the whole of our body. So the heart contains the womb and the seeing and everything else. The womb contains prema or love and everything else, because creativity is only made through love. The creation of a child is only made through a primal love that is coming through our bodies, even if we are unconscious to that when it is happening. So the more we are conscious of that, the more we grasp the power, the more we integrate and the more we operate from that power, right? So I don't know if that fully answers your question, but it's getting little tidbits and esoteric threads. Is there more you want to go into with that, Emmi?
Well, I would actually love to invite you to take us through a guided process if you'd like. That would
yes,
be
I certainly would.
Yeah.
I would love to do that. All right, beloved. So we are going to call this the womb heart descent. And this is just a very peaceful, safe rose journey into the dark feminine with the Marys. So I invite you to close your eyes if you feel comfortable with that. And just, beloveds, welcome to this sacred moment. This is a time for softening, breathing, deep listening, remembering what your body already knows. And let's just begin by arriving fully here as you're inhaling gently and exhaling slowly. You're letting your shoulders relax, your belly soften, your jaw unclench. Feel the ground beneath you, whether it's floor or earth directly. And just allow yourself to rest more fully into her, Mother Earth, Gaia, Sophia, Mary. And now place one hand over your heart and the other over your womb or your lower belly, if you're a sacred brother. And if you don't have a womb, either through surgery or through not being born with one, know that you still carry a powerful energetic center here at this belly, a sacred space of intuition, creation, and knowing. And just feel those two centers through your hand touch, heart and womb, beginning to speak to one another. And with each breath, just feel yourself entering into an even slower rhythm, the pace of the earth, the pulse of Mother. There is nowhere to go and nothing to do but be. And now, with your peaceful inner eyes, imagine that you are standing at the entrance to a temple. It is ancient, covered in roses, and lit inside only by a soft flame. This is the temple of the dark feminine. This is the place where truth lives. And just see Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene appearing at the doorway, warmly welcoming you. Mary Magdalene, cloaked in deep crimson and gold, her eyes burning with fierce love and compassion. Mother Mary, wrapped in midnight blue, with stars in her mantle, her presence radiating stillness and power. And they hold their hands out to you and they invite you to walk with them into the sacred darkness of this temple, the womb of creation, the inner sanctum of becoming. And you take their hands and you follow them inside, and immediately you feel the hush of the temple. The air is thick with the scent of rose and myrrh. And the light is dim but warm from that flame. You are safe, you are held. And as you walk ever deeply inward into this womb temple, you begin to feel memories surfacing. Your grief, your longing, your rage, maybe even parts of yourself that you have kept hidden in this regard. And as these surface, the Marys stop and turn toward you and they say, "You do not need to push these feelings away, beloved. You do not need to be afraid of your depth. These are the sacred gates to your becoming." And they place one hand on your heart and one on your womb, maybe on top of the hands that you already have there. And they begin to sing, not with voice, but with frequency. Just hear now their vibration that moves through you like a low hum, like the earth singing you open. And let yourself feel whatever arises now is welcome. Tears, warmth, numbness, nothingness, all is held in love. And I'm going to be silent for a minute here as you feel these memories, these difficult feelings emerging, these secrets from the chambers of your heart and womb unfolding, and the Mary's thrumming and humming that earth frequency through you, helping to shake these loose, shake these through, transmute and transform the stuckness into flow. The Marys are telling you you are standing at the threshold of sacred descent. And this is not the path of fear. This is the path of power. We walked it too through crucifixion, through loss, through exile, and we emerged not broken, but sovereign. Feel them saying to you, you too are a vessel of Sophia. You too carry the codes of resurrection. And just allow yourself to receive those codes through their sound. Feeling any lost or scattered parts of yourself coming back now. The innocence, the joy, the essential love that you are. And just feel the grief and the joy simultaneous side by side as part of one yin yang. It is the Sophia within you. And now with great tenderness, the Marys offer you a rose. It is black at first glance, but as you hold it, you see shimmers with violet, midnight blue, and deep crimson. This is the black rose of the dark feminine, a symbol of your strength, your softness, and your courage to remember. Receive it now into your heart or place it gently in your womb space or belly. And let its wisdom take root in you so that it will bloom in its own time. And just feel all of these things together, your griefs, your difficult emotions, the love codes of the Mary, shaking that out and restoring lost aspects, the black transformative rose of the divine feminine, taking root so that it bursts into different colors in your heart or your womb in its own time. I'm going to be silent for a minute here as you just work and play with the Marys and whatever is needed for yourself in this regard. Letting them hold you, letting them heal you in the darkness of this temple. Feeling them honoring your courage for what you agreed to incarnate into in this lifetime. And ask the Marys if they have any message for you about your life, about your path, about working or playing or supporting them as they support you. In this great Sophia Christic work of transformation and awakening on the planet. Thrumming and humming, relaxing and healing, awakening and opening in this womb of darkness, regathering, resurrecting. Good, and now taking the hands of the Marys, taking a deep breath in and out. Just allow them to walk you back toward the temple entrance. And just before you step through it, they say to you, we are always near. You are never alone. You are not too much. You are not too little. You are not too late. The dark feminine loves you completely. And just step through that temple entrance now, back to where you are seated. Begin to feel yourself fully returning to your body now, slowly, as you feel your feet, your fingertips, your spine, the weight of your hands on your chest and belly. Take a deep breath in and a long, slow breath out. And when you feel ready, gently open your eyes, knowing that you have touched something sacred, and this is just the beginning. Thank you for journeying. May the rose continue to open with you and within you. And may you trust the wisdom of your own descents. Blessed be. Ah.
Blessed be. Thank you so much, Marguerite. I'm still coming back from that. So
Yeah, you can just take a minute with that, just take a minute to fully come back into presence.
mm,
Ooh. Yeah. These are really moments of transformation when we engage these processes together, right?
yeah, and there's such power to doing this as a group as well. It just
Yeah.
amplifies the energy so much.
Yes, it really does. And I've really enjoyed, seeing everybody and some of our sacred brothers who are here. So wonderful to see them as well.
Yeah.
Mm.
Hmm. So as everyone's slowly coming back, Marguerite, would you have time for a few sharings or questions as well?
I certainly would. I absolutely would.
Wonderful.
Yes, people can, I suppose, drop them in chat. Is that your preferred method?
Either in the chat or raise your Zoom
I
hand
see.
and we'll call on you.
Yes, so happy to be in dialogue with you right now.
Beautiful. Thank you. I wanted to share just very briefly what was coming through from me
Yeah.
as well. And I started to drop somewhere very, very deep with that one. But as you guided us to allow memories, allow feelings and emotions to come through as the Marys were holding us and drumming for us and humming for us. I started to feel really, really nauseous.
Oh,
And I
yes.
started to like relive these moments from the fall of Lemuria, fall of Atlantis.
Oh,
I know I've
honey.
been present in many, many falls of civilizations,
Oh,
either
yeah.
as a participant or sometimes even causing it in one way or another. And
Yeah.
that was all just like flowing through my body. And then I was taken to other planets and like planetary wars, and all
Wow.
of that was kind of flowing through my body as well. So um, I literally actually what I started to see then was myself purging and the Marys just holding
Yeah.
me through that and just constantly saying to me, "You are not alone. You are not alone."
Oh my goodness. You so are not alone, because almost everybody here can probably identify with what you're saying in those memories. And some people were just dealing with their pain in the ass mother or father, and you're going to Lemuria and Atlantis. I mean, we're all at different areas and different realms at different times, right? But yeah, that purging, that nausea, and that, like, oh, I've got to expel this toxicity, and they can hold us through anything. That is a safe zone that anybody can go back to for whatever kind of thing. And sometimes it's some serious abuse, and we need a place to be held. And you might want to do that with a person present also to hold you. Okay, because there's some real purging that wants to happen with all that. So, oh, blessed be, sister.
Hmm.
You're carrying a lot. You're carrying the flag. You're one of the people on the planet really carrying the flag.
Hmm. Thank
Yeah,
you. And
blessed
thank you
be.
for guiding us into that. That was very, very powerful, very potent.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Hmm. There's some
Um,
comments coming through for you, Marguerite.
blessed be. Let me look, because I do have the chat open. I'm just trying to. Um, Andy's asking, do you work with Barbello too? Not directly. That sounds like a really cool thing to get into. I know that Barbello is, and in some ways, Barbello is, like, I would say, an octave of Sophia, perhaps, but there's a specific medicine from Barbello for the Gnostics. And I highly encourage, like, if you're being called to Barbello, to investigate who that being is and how you can work with it. Um, let's see here. Okay, Lisa, it's hard to find information on Mother Mary. All righty. Can't wait to read your book. Yeah, the Secret Life of Mother Mary, as well as the previous one, The Mystery Tradition of Miraculous Conception. It's like a complete protein put together, of everything that the church that shall remain unnamed didn't want us to know. And yet, in some senses, has been in plain sight all along. That's the thing. It's not like, I researched that book, right? Yep, The Secret Life of Mother Mary. Um, so glad. Now let's see. Did you want me to take Anne
We've got Anna.
on here? Anna Lehman. Yeah, did you want to unmute yourself, dear heart, and offer your question or comment?
Sure, thank you. Thank you so much. I thank you for all the wisdom you shared and the journey just now, particularly also the I'll just summarize it naively as the womb wisdom that you have shared.
Yeah.
I
Not,
have
not naive at all. Not naive at all.
no,
Well,
the word womb wisdom seems, I suppose, it's true. I'm in menopause, and because I'm in my life, I'm sort of coming out of the end of the death cycle, but for me to really I had to manage my menopausal symptoms in a way because it just was too much for me to take.
yeah.
So right now I have a coil fitted.
Uh-huh.
I have also a history of fibromes, and sadly at a time in my life where I was not attuned and not surrounded by people or doctors you know, that were even attuned to the female body. That stopped me from receiving and from being pregnant, and I had miscarriages. So there's a lot of trauma that I felt recently came up at a time when I was starting to work with that grief in my death journey. I had literally like a lava type, it felt like the inside of the earth actually spinning in my womb around and around and around for a few days.
That's quite an image, and that's very apt for a lot of us, and it is what is actually true. You're just feeling it in an amplified way.
Yeah, and I thought I thought I couldn't handle that pain, and towards the end it rushed into my head, and I almost fainted. But then, you know, I breathed through it, and you know, and then came the tears, and I flooded it out for a few days. And since then, I feel I know that was the grief of the son who chose not to come into my life, and of losing that child. So I feel I'm starting to make peace with the womb that I know I have neglected for so very long and not listened to. And now she's got still a coil fitted, and I'm not sure yet, but I'm hoping to get off the, you know, HRT at some point. But I need to sort of manage that. I was just wondering, you know, any advice or wisdom you could share on healing the trauma in the womb, and at the time of menopause, and also, you know, at a time of still being in HRT. And I know it's probably very controversial here, but it's just how it looks like for me right now.
No, that's fine. I would recommend, you know, a step that both Emmi and I have taken, Emmi, if I may, you know, the Holy Womb Chakra teachings, which I do offer through the Seven Sisters Mystery School. It is a very robust and beautiful mantra and yantra, or drawing-based system that Sri Kaleshwar brought through, that I mentioned earlier, that Mother Mary and Magdalene and Yeshua also used and contributed to it as a great first step for that womb clearing, that womb healing, that womb restoration. Okay. And from there, I might recommend a one-on-one session with my teacher, Cindy Lindsay, about that coil. In time, you'll feel ready to release it, and you might be able to replace the hormonal regulation with natural-based things like Christiane Northrup's Pararia Mirifica formulas, which are plant-based, that plant from Thailand. And I think if you find another really wonderful naturopath, they can recommend much better plant-based hormonal regulators for you. Okay, that would be the short answer. All right, dear heart. And you can go to sevensistersmysteryschool.com and find that course in the course drop down, and Emmi took it, and so, you know, that's a really good step for you, and it's I think essential teaching and learning for all of us, not just women, because men take that course as well. Yeah, blessed be.
Beautiful. Rita saying beautiful guided process. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Saying she went to Gaza and felt the agony of the Palestinian people.
Yeah. Yeah, and the Marys have a lot to say about that, the Palestinian people, and all of those conflicts there that are, you know, it's just a heightened node over there where lots of different forces are competing and stimulating all the strife and the rifts that have gone there. And so it all comes down to this essential, what I call Mary love, that Mary being the Egyptian term for love, that they embodied. It's in their name, encoded in their name, Mary. We have to do the personal inner work. As we're doing that, we're healing the Palestinian conflict. You know what I mean? And that doesn't negate doing reconciliation actions or whatever you're called to do. But one is holographically related to the other. And as we each do this kind of work, it spreads globally. And then these knots and nodes of extreme conflict can also start softening in their way.
So very true. Yeah, thank you. Anybody else would like? Oh, Linda, please go ahead. Linda Novik.
Linda, my dear neighbor. Hey, dear heart, make sure you unmute. Hi.
Hi. Oh, that was a very beautiful experience that you led us through. Marguerite, I'm facing my life right now. I'm 79. I'll turn 80 April 1st. Blessed
Wow.
be.
Blessed be.
I'm encountering, I would have to say, psychological, something that's been very deep in that has led me through my life. I've made certain choices. I've always felt unworthy,
Yeah,
and I
not
have,
alone.
I know, and I've made a very successful life. But now, as I see how I've been jealous and competitive, and I know I'm not the only one that has this,
Yeah.
but I don't know how to dive into the realizations of how I've been during my life. I want to honor the good, the success that I've made and the love that I've spread, but also the unworthiness that has followed me through my life.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to share that. I wanted to speak it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's very painful as I face how I've isolated myself and stayed away from groups because of needing to be in control, needing to be number one,
Mm.
the center of attention. And
Mhm.
I see that.
Mhm.
And I just wanted to say it out loud.
Mhm. Blessed be. Would you like me to respond?
Yes.
Well, we witness your the courage in naming that as you go through a preliminary life review, as you're getting ready to eventually at some point leave your body. And what you're going through is an iteration of what we all go through. You know, one of my really good teachers who works a lot with people in the medicine realm says that everybody's medicine journey is different, but basically every single person comes to some part in their journey where the unworthiness comes through. And that was even true for me. There I was a year ago in this deep medicine journey. I called in Mother Mary, I called in my dead mother, and this and that. And I'm like, am I even worthy to be with Mother Mary or to be her arms and eyes in this lifetime? And I spoke it out loud, and my teacher was like, yeah, that everybody gets there. So what this is about is healing that unworthiness that has been encoded into us, unfortunately, and through certain religious programs, especially. And we are all coming through this profound healing and reconnection with sacred source, our worthiness, that we realize that we are source, we are connected to source, we are worthy of source. So I would recommend continuing your connectivity with source in whatever form you feel that. And that's why these beings come in anthropomorphized humanoid form, so that we can connect. We need that humanoid intercessor, so to speak. Start calling on them, working with them, working with the mother cacao, coming over for a visit with me, whatever. Because you're dealing with what we're all dealing with, and you have perfect time to get to a much better place before you take your last breath. That's what I'm getting. Okay.
That
You have
yes,
perfect
yes.
time, perfect timing. You're not too late, dear heart.
Thank you, Marguerite.
All right.
I'd like to come over and visit you.
Yeah.
Thank
You got
you.
my number, girl. Okay. Let's all just take a breath here. All right, Emmy, I leave it in your hands.
Thank you, Marguerite. There's a few more comments in the chat just thanking you for this process. And what you're
Yes, it-
taking us through. Yeah. Would you like to just
Joan
please,
Larson.
sorry, go on.
Joan Larson saying hello.
Mhm.
Some people I know, some people I don't know. I'm probably missing people, but hello. Anyway, yes.
Would you like to just briefly share about the priestess training as well?
Yes, yes. You know, what we've experienced today is a taste of the kinds of things that you can experience in the Marian Magdalene Priestess training, which is as much an integration into your personal life as it is any kind of preparation should you want to quote take your stuff out there. This training is really it's an interior training, which is an interior life set, life review, life enhancement with the Marys in our midst. We're working with them, their energy signatures, their support, and we are going through a series of initiations with them that have to do with our bodily senses, the Gnostic mysteries that will be taken through, and really working to clear and activate our wombs, clear and activate our hearts, clear and activate our seeings, and connect with all those beings that I was talking about earlier, the Fae, the dragons, the unicorns, the starry dove mothers, and so forth. Really going into that, opening up those doorways that are already within us in a very, very deep way. So it's a life transformative experience on every level. And for those who wish to take this work to other levels, that option is there for you as well. So the registration closes in less than a week as of this filming, August 28th, 2025. Registration closes, and the 6-month program begins September 3rd. There are 2 live classes a month, and then many other video and audio resources that you can do in your own time, and all of it's available through replay. This is not an onerous, difficult, grinding kind of training. This is a come as you are. You'll get what you need. Replenishment of what we're all needing at this time, so that we can be the eyes and the arms of the Marys in this world, in our lives, in our families, in our partnerships. Okay. So I'd love to see you all. And I don't know if maybe what I'll do, Emmy, if you don't mind, is I'll just quickly drop that link in the chat. Is that okay?
Already put it there. The one that
Oh, you did. Blessed be. Thank you, dear heart.
Mhm.
And there's a free gift there that is going to be under this video that also, it's the Marian Magdalene womb heart activation. That's like a larger chunk than we did today of what you can experience in that training. So that's a beautiful experience that you can partake of. Yes, right. Good. I'm glad you gave that particular link. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. There's
Ingrid.
a question in the chat. I'm not sure you have time to take that one, but if not, then
Certainly.
Andy's asking, do you agree with Sarah and Bertrand in reclaiming Mary as the whore?
Right. So I am somewhat familiar with their beautiful book, The Magdalene Mysteries. I think I might even be looking at.
The left-hand
Yeah.
panel of
Yeah.
the
Yeah. And I think that, so I don't know exactly what she's saying about Magdalene as whore, but what I'm guessing she's saying is that it's about reclaiming the sexuality of the sacred woman. Um, And there's many different versions of what whore actually meant in the ancient world, that it's connected to Hathor, that it's connected to women who were working in sexual sacred ways and so forth. And it could be that Mary Magdalene was working in those ways as part of her tantric initiations and so forth. So I think it's that rather than, what it came to be as we understand it as prostitution. I don't think she was involved in that. I think she was always a high initiate, and always working with these energies at very deep esoteric levels. So that's how I would respond to that.
And I would just love to add, because Saren is also one of my womb awakening teachers, that she also references the original meaning of the word whore Whore is what we've turned that word into, but the
Yeah.
original meaning of whore actually relates to the womb. If I'm not mistaken, it actually means the womb. So it's just been misinterpreted and twisted and turned in all kinds of ways within patriarchy. So it really has to do with the original meaning of the term and her connection to the womb.
Yeah, blessed be.
Yeah.
Because this is about empowerment. This is not about feeling denigrated or doing things that make us feel denigrated or you know, that sort of thing. Okay. Oh,
Beautiful.
yeah.
Well, Marguerite, I feel that we're starting to be complete here. Is there anything else that's coming through for you that you would still like to share?
Oh my goodness. Let's just tune in here. Just feeling into the Marys that they just have such a heart blessing for all of us, thanking us for being here, for the courage to look into the dark crevices, corners, and caves of our life and of our world. And that all of this is part of our deep initiatory journey when we come into human incarnation in this planet, and that it becomes the food, it becomes the manna of our heaven. The darkness becomes the manna of our heaven. And so as we can take away and contemplate that mystery that I'm sure is threaded throughout your beautiful summit, they just leave us with a blessing of love and an encodement of light as well for us to take with us and support us in the coming hours, days, weeks, and months. Blessed be.
Blessed be. Thank you so much for those gracious words, Marguerite. And thank you so much for being a part of this summit despite your busy, busy schedule, and
That's great.
honoring you as my mentor, as my sister priestess, and a friend and a colleague. And thank you for all the work that you do in the world. It is so very needed and so, so valuable. Thank you.
You're welcome, Emmy. I received that with gratitude.
Blessed be. And thank you, everybody who's joined us today as well. I so appreciate all of you who have been part of this live or watching this from the recording. I hope this has been as powerful for you as it has been for me. And I hope you're taking a lot away from this interview as well. This was our last live interview for this summit.
Oh my God, yes.
Yes. And we'll continue journeying still for the next 48 hours or so. Plus tomorrow is our closing ceremony as well. So I look forward to seeing you, as many of you as possible, at that ceremony as well.
Beautiful. Blessings to you. Blessings, everybody. Mwah.
Thank you so much.
Bye for now.
Bye for now. Thanks, Marguerite.